Welcome back to Learn English with Stories. Have you ever had a conflict with a colleague? Maybe a misunderstanding or different opinions that created tension? Today's story is about Tom and Rachel, two team members who had a disagreement that started small but quickly became a bigger problem. How they handled it made all the difference. Let's begin. Tom and Rachel worked in the same project team. At the beginning, they worked well together. Tom focused on data and analysis. Rachel focused on communication and presentation. They had different roles, but their work was connected. One week, the team was preparing an important report. The deadline was close. Everyone was busy. Tom completed his part and sent the data to Rachel. Rachel reviewed it quickly, but something didn't feel right. She noticed that some numbers were unclear. Without discussing it with Tom, she made changes to the report. She adjusted the data presentation, she simplified some sections. Later that day, Tom opened the final version. As he looked at the report, his expression changed. "Why was this changed?" he asked. He felt frustrated. The data was his responsibility, and now it had been modified without his approval. Tom walked over to Rachel. "Did you change my data?" he asked. Rachel looked up. "Yes, I made a few adjustments to make it clearer," she replied. Tom's tone became more serious. "But you didn't tell me," he said. "That could create problems." Rachel crossed her arms slightly. "I was trying to improve it," she said. "We didn't have much time." The conversation became tense. Both of them believed they were right. Tom cared about accuracy, Rachel cared about clarity, but neither of them was really listening. For a moment, the situation felt uncomfortable. Then Rachel paused. She took a deep breath. "Maybe we should review it together," she said, more calmly. Tom hesitated, then nodded. They sat down and opened the report. This time, they explained their perspectives. Tom pointed out why the original data mattered. Rachel explained why some parts needed to be clearer for the audience. As they talked, the tension slowly disappeared. They started to understand each other. Instead of arguing, they began working together. They adjusted the report again. This time, it was both accurate and easy to understand. When the final version was submitted, everything was clear and professional. Later that day, Tom spoke to Rachel again. "Thanks for working through that with me," he said. Rachel smiled. "Yeah, I think we did a better job together," she replied. From that experience, both of them learned something important. Conflict is not always a bad thing, but how you handle it can make a big difference. Now that you've heard the story, let's go through some useful business English words and phrases, along with practical examples that you can use in real situations. First, let's look at the word conflict, which refers to a disagreement or problem between people. For example, you might say, "There was a conflict between two team members about the project." Or, in real life, "It's important to resolve conflicts quickly at work." Next, we have the word misunderstanding, which means a situation where people do not understand each other correctly. For example, "The issue was caused by a misunderstanding," or "We had a misunderstanding, but we fixed it by talking openly." Moving on, we come to the word adjust, which means to change something slightly to improve it. In real situations, you might say, "We need to adjust the report before sending it," or "She adjusted the presentation to make it clearer." Another important term is perspective, which refers to the way someone sees a situation. For example, "From my perspective, we should focus on accuracy," or "It's helpful to understand different perspectives." We also have the phrase work through, which means to deal with a problem step by step. In real life, you might say, "Let's work through this issue together," or "They worked through the problem and found a solution." Finally, let's look at the phrase "find a solution," which means to solve a problem. For example, "We need to find a solution before the deadline," or "The team worked together to find a solution." As you can see, these expressions are extremely useful in real workplace situations, especially when dealing with disagreements and teamwork. So, what can we learn from this story? Conflicts at work are normal, but ignoring them or reacting emotionally can make things worse. If you communicate clearly, listen to others, and focus on solutions, you can turn conflict into better teamwork. If you want to improve your business English through real-life situations, stories like this can help you both in language and in communication skills. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow the channel for more stories. See you in the next video.